All right, guys. So this is 13th of May, 2026, and this is the recap for today's trade on the Freedom Protocol. So, unfortunately, today was a losing trade, but I still want to go through the process to show you how I could still have come out in profit, even though I chose not to take that opportunity. So, first thing we do is we get the higher time frame uh, trend. So usually I'll call that higher time frame, right? That is basically zooming out to see what's the overall trend. So we have our parameters that we look at to determine trend, but at least you can even see that we've been going up for the last like 1 week. So that's just a general um, description, and then we check the lower time frame, or let's say the shorter period. So we look at a longer period like 5 days, and then we look at maybe the overnight period from maybe 12 midnight, or at least the Asian to UK session. So basically, this is the period. But as at the time I was taking this trade, we just opened the 9:30. So let me put a mark there. Here was the opening bell, right? So let's say we were somewhere like this. And I'm just looking at the overnight session. So from, let's say, 12 midnight all the way to open. And you can see this just looks neutral. It looks neutral, but someone could say, hey, this is a downtrend, right? So if I look from here, it looks neutral. If I look from here, it looks like a downtrend. So I decided to take this as a downtrend in the shorter time frame. Okay, and you could have decided, so if you are taking this as a neutral uh time frame, it would have affected your grade score, and that would have actually saved you um, from making as much loss as I made today. So the grade score for me on this particular trade was a B trade, okay, because we broke down. We broke down. All right. Now, before we put in our trade, usually we have a way of determining our TP and stop loss distance. If you look at yesterday's trade, our stop loss was 41, our TP was 41 points. You can see that. So today, following uh our secret, position sizing strategy, we arrived at 73.7 point, but I just used 72 points on my execution. But the whole idea is we were expecting that price would at least come this far, okay? At least come this far for us to take our profit, but that did not happen today. Instead, what happened was price came very close, okay? No, that was here. So price, we entered right here on this white candle. This was the breakout candle here. So we entered right here and put a mark there. And then price came here, which is about 50% of the total distance, and it reversed. So now, because this was a B setup, for me, when I have a B setup, it means I'm not using a hard stop loss. Okay, so I'm not going to put a hard stop loss here. I'm going to use a dynamic money management to give the trade more room to breathe and still come back into profit, which is exactly what happened yesterday. So if you look at the trade yesterday, this was yesterday's trade. We had the breakout candle. We entered the trade here. It went against us to the 21 EMA. It took a DCA trade right here, and then it came back into profit. You can see, and it actually broke further down. So I was hoping we'd have the same output today, but eventually we did not. So when we got here, I actually took a second entry on this candle, took a second entry, hoping that we would come back into profit. But you can see the price kept going up, and I had my invalidation zone actually. Um, I think I had it. Let me check my MetaTrader 5. Let's see where I had it. Okay, so I had it right here. So this was my invalidation zone. Invalidation zone means that once we get up here, I'm willing to take a stop loss here and this trade also here. But the idea was this particular second trade was two times the size of the first trade. So this was 1 hour, this was 2 hour. So eventually I lost, about um let's say maybe 3 to 4 hours. So this is one, two, three, four, five, like 5 hours today. All right. Because just the same, about the same amount I made here, is what I lost here. Okay. So I took a DCA trade here, hoping for it to reverse. But very, very seldom, once in a while, the DCA trade does not work. And when it doesn't work, it actually gives you a bigger loss. So today my loss is coming to about 8%, 8, 9%. Yesterday I made about 10%, actually 10.4% on this particular trade. Today I lost about 8% this particular trade. Now, what happens is, because this happens very, very rarely, it's very rare that you will have a DCA trade with our strategy that will end up in a loss. Okay, so it happens few and far in between. So the other wins on the daily wins, usually make up for these kinds of scenario. The other thing I wanted to say was I still could have come out of the trading session in a win. All I needed to have done is to wait until the price broke out. Um, or I probably would have done that. Once I got taken out here, we've already confirmed that the momentum had changed, the direction had changed, at least for the morning session. Okay. Once we broke out of this opening range, with this candle, I've confirmed that the direction has actually changed, all right, for this session. So even though I was still in this DCA trade up until this point, once I got out of this trade with this big candle, I could actually wait for a pullback to this zone and actually enter, right? And if I was going to enter here, I would be entering um, with the total risk that I lost here, because if I have a failed breakout at one side and we have an opposite side breakout, it's usually a bit more certain, like 70% certain that we're going to continue in that direction. So I could have entered anywhere along here and still made my money back. So I could have ended today either as a break even or in slight profit or maybe a very small loss. But again, I'm doing this while I'm on site managing a construction project, so I didn't have time to manage this long trade. Most times I'm in and out and just trying to do this on my phone. All right. So the other thing I wanted to say, so this is one way I could have mitigated my loss, because even if you lose one trade setup, you can take two trades in a day, you can take three trades in a day, depending on what the market gives you. So this was an opportunity for me to have made the money I lost here, make it back, and I could still have been trailing, till now if I wanted to. But I decided to take that loss and just come back tomorrow. The other thing that could have been different with this trade was if I had my lower time frame as neutral. Okay, I told you that I looked at this time frame and said, you know what, I think this is down for me. All right. So but if I had looked at it as neutral, as I said in the beginning, then my score would have been a C. All right. My score would have been a C. And if my score was a C, I would have used a hard stop loss at this point, which was at 73, thereabout. So I would have used a hard stop loss and I would have been out of the trade right here with a very small loss. And I would have just waited for this breakout and I would have joined here and I'd have made my money back with profits if I had gone with this trade. But again, it doesn't matter. I still had the opportunity here. I just did not take it. And that is how the strategy goes. Back tomorrow For this to have happened today, it means the likelihood of tomorrow being a straight run to TP is much higher. When we have a day where we have the trade failing, the chances of that happening the next day is very slim. So we have a higher probability that when we have the breakout tomorrow, it's going to be a straight run to hit the TP and maybe continue. So we're going to look out for that. But that was today's trade setup. Well, I'm still up for the month. Today's 13. I'm going to do a monthly recap for my trading and see where um, how we've performed, but just at a glance, you can see that for the whole of May, right? From May started somewhere here. From here, we've been in a serious, massive uptrend, and that trend is still playing out. Um, right here. All right. So thanks for watching this. If you are not subscribed, kindly click the like button and subscribe to see more of my daily recaps. I do this every single day, whether I post or not. I'm managing my very, very hectic schedule on site as an architect and also managing my other businesses. But I make time to do this particular protocol every New York session. Yesterday, it took me only 20 minutes 20 minutes to make 10%. Okay. Even though yeah, today we lost that, but I'm sure most of my traders may have taken the C trade and they would have mitigated the loss here and also made that money back with profit here. But whichever way it went, we'll be back tomorrow. We do not look at the trade performance on a daily basis. We look at it at the end of the month. And this strategy consistently performs between 15 to 20%, or let's just say between 10 to 20% every month on a conservative basis. Okay, so if you want to learn more about what we do and how you can do this by yourself to build wealth with trading, make sure you click the link in the description to join us on Discord so that you can learn how we do this and also trade with us live. As you can see, this is my Discord, and I trade and I post my setups and discussion. I have a trade discussion group where I break down every trade that I take while I'm doing it, and we just have fun doing it that way. Okay. So if you would like to learn how to trade this, if you're looking for a consistent way to make money in the forex market, but not just to make money, to build wealth and grow your account by 10, 15, 20% consistently, especially when you are a busy professional, a busy executive, a busy career person, then you definitely want to check out what we do with the Freedom Protocol. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.